Not bad.
Welcome back, guys. As you saw in the last video, we got the trailer all fixed up and ready to go. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to get the boat off the lift, onto the trailer, and back to my house. The first piece to this puzzle is getting power out to the lift so we can lower the boat into the water. I don't know the last time this thing was powered up, but it's probably been several years. After closing the boat lift trailer inside the house, there was no power at all getting into the outlets outside. There must be a break in the line somewhere. After checking for continuity between several of the lines, there was one junction box that I really didn't want to get to, but it looked like I'm going to have to get in the water to take a look at. I checked the depth of the water, and it was only something like 18 to 24 inches deep. That's nothing. So it was pretty easy for me to just put some old crappy shoes on and hop in the water and check the box. After getting the front cover off, it was apparent that the water at some point in time had gone up over the top of the box. There was all sorts of mud and gunk inside there, and whenever I pulled the wires out, you could see that one of them was clearly broken. All I had to do to get power back out to the lift was resplice those two wires back together. Now that power was back out to the outlets, I had to test each motor. There was two of them for this lift. Guess what? Only one of them worked. The first motor worked just fine, but the second motor only worked going in the upward position. For some reason, it kept on popping the GFCI every single time I put it into the downward position. Thinking that it was just a switch issue, I even switched all the wires on the switches between the two motors. That did nothing. I'm thinking there's a direct short to ground somewhere on that wire going from motor 1 over to motor 2. So I'm going to have to get a bit creative in this process. I found that it wasn't really hard to spin the motor in the downward position. I didn't want to have to be sitting there spinning it manually for the next, half hour, 45 minutes just to get this thing in the water. So I made a little jig and put it on the end of a drill so I could just spin the motor down using the drill. Oh, before I forget, I also had to buy a plug for the boat from my local West Marine shop. Once we're in the water, we are lucky enough to have one of the neighbors give us a tow around to the loading dock. This was a heck of a lot better than the alternative, which was literally to walk the boat all the way around to the loading dock. I seriously mean, stand in the water, feet in the mud, and walk the boat all the way around.
Most of this way. It's deeper over there, past that though, but back over here it's shallow again.
I'm really happy we didn't resort to having to do that. I'm actually really kind of mad at myself that I didn't get any video of the next part here, which was getting the trailer attached to the truck, and then getting the truck backed up into the loading dock. At first, the lights for the trailer didn't work, but we found out we just had a bad ground. Special thanks to my dad, who did all the driving for this. He's never driven with a boat on the back of his truck before. I've never done it before either, so we're just kind of figuring it out as we went. Once we got the boat lined up, I just attached the winch to the front end and reeled the thing in. Once we got everything out of the water, I had to hit the manual release valve on the trim cylinder, so that way we could lift the motor up and then lock it into position. We also used several other tie-down straps. I know that I put this trailer together, and that's the reason why I don't trust it, so we made sure to use extra straps. Finally, after about 2 weeks of driving back and forth down to my wife's grandma's house, we finally got this thing out of the water, and it's on its way back to my house. The total trip back to my house was about 30, maybe 35 miles, and you wouldn't believe the sense of accomplishment I got just by seeing this thing hit highway speeds. We backed the boat in and parked it beside my house. This is where it's going to stay for the next few weeks while I get this thing ready to go back on the water. You could see my parents made it first priority to go hang out with their grandson. Wanna say hi? Shout out also goes to my brother Chris, who was there that entire time, and I wouldn't have been able to get the thing out of the water if it weren't for him. Well, that wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for next video, where I give you very specific instructions on how to clean your boat.
So today I'm going to be cleaning a boat, and I'm going to teach you how to clean a boat. Step 1, get a beer. Step 2, clean the boat.